The Painting with Magic Show with Brandon Thomas is brought to you by BrandonThomasArtSupply.com.
Hey, it's me, Brandon T here, and welcome to the Painting with Magic Show. And I want to welcome you to a brand new season, Season 8. I'm so happy that you guys really want me to come back for another season. It's awesome to be back with you and do some awesome new projects. And we kind of redecorated the studio a little bit. Got some awesome new signs and all kinds of cool stuff to put in here, because I really love this old vintage looks and things. So I hope you enjoy the new studio look. And the canvases and everything we're using is the same. I'm using the Fredrix canvases. This is a 16x20 red label canvas. And then the paints I'm using is the Grumbacher pre-tested paint. So I thought I'd get that information up there to you right out the back, because I get a lot of questions on the canvas and the paint that I'm using. And of course it has amazing white on the canvas. So this is amazing white. The thin oil-based medium that will go on the canvas here to make it slick and wet. So it's wet right now and tacky. So we can blend all of our paint right here on the canvas. We can blend our sky and water and everything like that and be good to go. And so the colors that I've got will be on the screen for you. And you can also get this same print off. You can put in your studio as well. This has the colors that I use most of the time. This is my main palette. Every now and then I'll add a different color, say phthalo blue or phthalo green, or sometimes cadmium orange or something. But most of the time, this is my palette. And over the years, I've tried out different browns. And burnt sienna is the most versatile, I believe, of all the brown tones that we can choose from. Because I can make burnt umber with this. I can make it more darker, like Van Dyke brown. And it's a great color. So those are all the colors we're using, and the brushes I'm using are my signature brushes that you can get more information on the channel. I actually have a little video about these brushes, and you can find them on my website at BrandonThomasArtSupply.com, along with most of the supplies you see here today. So with that, we're going to do a mountain scene. Now, a lot of people ask, what are we doing for season 8's episode 1? Well, I asked people, what would you like to see? And overwhelmingly, mountain one. So, a lot of people ask me, why you paint mountains all the time? Well, for one, I love painting mountains. But you guys love seeing them. You love watching these mountains. And so many folks starting out always have questions on painting mountains. They're the funnest subject to paint. And they're tricky to grasp at the beginning. But then once you do, you love them. You love painting them. And I'll talk about this lamp here, because I got questions on this too. This is from the Daylight Company. This easel lamp here. Beautiful lamp. You can get that at the Daylight Company's website. I'll have a link in the description, probably, to where you can find these lamps. They're awesome lamps. They got multiple settings on them. So here's low, I think. Yeah, here's bright, low, and lowest. I keep it about on medium, on the medium light. But I think with that, we're ready to get monkey-faced. So I'll tell you what, let's go down to the palette here, and we'll go into a little Prussian blue. Just a tiny touch of Prussian blue. Just a little bit. This is a super strong blue. This is the pre-tested, Grumbacher pre-tested. It's a very strong color. It takes very little bit. Okay, and we'll add more as we go, but just a tiny bit will do you. So just tap the brush right into that palette. Alright, let's go up here. Okay, so right up here we're going to use an old X stroke. So we're going to use an little X stroke and work it all the way across our canvas. And I think I want to make it just a little darker. This is how you kind of check and see how dark it is and how dark you want to make your sky. And just do a little X stroke and start working it down. And automatically that amazing white will mix with the Prussian blue. And because this brush is made out of natural bristles, it blends in softly. Very nicely done. That's why we use natural bristle brushes. They blend and they hold that paint and they just work the best. Okay. Okay, that's good. That's good right there. Okay, now I'm going to take a number 6 fan brush here, and I'm going to load it up in some titanium white. And just kind of pull through the paint. Now this is titanium white original from Grumbacher. I'm going to take a tiny bit of some Napthol red with that. Just a little bit of pink. Okay. Really load that brush up. Tell you what, let's go up here. Okay, and just using one little circle, one little tip of the brush, we start doing some little circles. Just like that. And sometimes I use the main bristles. I'll wipe that off real quick, reload the brush, and then do circles and get some beautiful cloud shapes. That easily. See? Simple. Always wipe off that brush when you reload the brush. But I just want a few cloud shapes living in here. Maybe there's a little cloud way back here. And we can soften it down by just letting off the pressure. So by just letting off the pressure, we can soften and blend just with the fan brush. Just with the fan brush you can do this. You can wipe off that fan brush and just softly blend it. You could actually fluff and do everything with that same old brush. See? So you don't have to have a ton of tools to make things happen. There we go. Good. It's a good looking sky. I'll tell you what, let's go down here. Okay, we're going to go down here and we're going to mix up a color now. We're going to mix up a big base color. So we got black, ivory black, Prussian blue. One more Prussian blue. Red. Burnt sienna. Like a very dark color. And we're going to scoop up some titanium white, put it right next door to it. And this way you can kind of see what color you want. If you want it more on the blue like this here, or if you want it more on the reddy side, I'm going to add just a gray, just a little bit. I'll add a little burnt sienna. Okay, that's a good color. We're going to use this little bit of roll of paint here, and we're going to start putting in a little background mountain. So right over here, I'm going to start working up an idea of a little background mountain. And because Amazing White's on here, it's automatically starting to work for me. Automatically starting to work. And the knife's the easiest thing to use. The easiest thing to use to get your mountain shapes in. I'll tell you what, let's take it all the way over here. A little ridge or two living back here. Just like that. And I'm really pushing this color out. Really pushing it out. Really pulling it out. Really scrape it. This is the background. So I'm taking this knife straight on and just giving it a scrape. I don't want hardly any paint back here left. Good, there we go. Then we'll take an old 2-inch brush that we used to use for the sky and pull it out. Pull it out. See? That easily. That easy. We're not going to probably see this middle section here because I got an idea to make a big mountain in the middle of this. This is going to be kind of background ridge and stuff like that. Now this is where it's going to get a little tricky. This is where it can get a little bit tricky here. I don't want this to be super sharp. So I want to fuzz it out a little bit. Take my 2-inch hake brush and just soften and fuzz these to the background just a little bit. Hopefully you can see how it's fuzzing it up. This might have been better if it was a little lighter in color, but I think that'll work just fine. There we go. And we'll go back to the old palette knife. Let's go down to the palette. Okay, we're going to take this dark color here. I'm going to scrape up some of that and some of this light. I don't want to be extremely, extremely dark, but it needs to be a little darker than this one. And we get a nice little roll of paint. Right there. There we go. So we're going to put it right back here. I'm in a pretty good size peak going this way. I tell you what, before I do any farther, I'll take a 1-inch brush, some Amazing White on it, with a 1-inch brush here, and I just want to add in some extra mist, just so I can get a little more extra separation here. Same with this side. Just a little more extra separation and mist. This way that it'll really be in the background. There we go. That'll do. Back to the old knife again. And working in our beautiful little peak. There it goes this way. Maybe come out a little bit more like that. That's better. Something like that there. I'm kind of picturing a big old ridge. Kind of going for here. Good. And then kind of scraping it out. Now, honestly, I could have just put Amazing Clear down here or some NTO down here at the bottom. That actually might have been better, but we'll be good. We'll be good anyway. Back to the old 2-inch brush again, and I'm just going to pull out this paint. Just going to pull it out. Pull it nice and out. There we go. I'll tell you what, we're going to take that dark color we had, and we're going to fill the bottom in with that. Let's go down here. Let's take that dark paint we had. That dark paint. And just fill the bottom with that up. Just fill it up right here at the bottom. You can use an old paint roller for this. Whatever you got. I want more black in this. I'm going to add a little more black. Now again, you could cover this with some Amazing Clear. That's a little sap green to that. You can just use clear medium, Amazing Clear, or some NTO or something like that, and keep this real dark. But I just use Amazing Clear. But if I was going to do it again, maybe that's what I'd do. There we go. That's a nice bit of black there. Working up the mountain. Up on the bottom, nice and dark. Way over here, some more dark. So just fill all that in. Okay, so back to the old mountain here. I'm going to add a little more texture to it. So I'm just adding a little bit of that mountain color we were using. I want a little more texture going on up here. A little more texture. Maybe separate it like that or something. I'm kind of seeing this right here. This way, this way, another way. You can always use a filbert brush like that to design out your mountain. A little darker. a little darker. This is going to be my shadow side. And so I just, more mountain color. This is just, all this is more mountain mixture. More mountain mixture. Just black, blue, a little red, a little burnt sienna in there. You see? Doesn't matter if you break the paint at this point, honestly. Okay. Something going like that. Then we'll take a little burnt sienna and a little bit of white here. So a little burnt sienna, a little white. Get this little color here. It's like a grayish brown color. Okay, go right back here. And we start to make some decisions of all these different ideas. There's a little bit of that blue in here just to gray it up. Just that was on the knife, so. Oh, that's pretty. It's already pretty. But I'm kind of wanting some. This is just going to kind of act as a some background stuff. I'm going back to that mountain color again. There's a little white in it. There we go. Just so I can play around with some colors here. Then we'll throw a palette knife off and we'll take some titanium white. So let's go down to the palette. So we got titanium white. There's a little blue in there just because the knife was a little dirty. I'm going to add a little red. A little more red. Ooh, a lot of red. We'll use that nice big pink. Let's go back up here. Okay, so now we're going to start working on some highlights. Big, beautiful pink highlights. That really shows you warmth in a painting. Okay, so we'll just keep working. Just down that mountain. Just right down that old mountain. You come up with little areas that maybe it just kind of bumps and it does its thing. But I always like to come back and kind of blend some of that into the mountain. And this gives you extra little details and extra little excitements in your mountains. Makes your mountains look a little more fancier, a little more detailed. So I don't like to use a chalky paint. I don't like my paint to be chalky. If you use a very chalky paint, it's going to be really difficult to blend with that knife. Okay? You're going to have all kinds of issues. So I tell people, if your paint's too chalky, it's too dry. A lot of people will buy these kits off eBay that have very old paint in them. Very old paint. And it's extremely thick and chalky. And you don't want that. You don't want that at all. Down this ridge here to help pull it out. So, just a little bit more. There we go. I'm add a little of this color. A little, maybe a little more blue and black here. Just a mountain color here. Blue, black, a little burnt sienna. Same color we use for the mountain. Just kind of put some of that in. It helps quite a bit. See that? back to that little bit of white with a little pink on it. There. And just kind of work it back and forth there. Now I'm just going to take a little bit of that mountain color here. I'm just going to make up a little kind of a shadow tone. And use the back side of the blade. And when I go back here now, I'm just going to give it just a little texture, a little bit of something going on back here. Then I'm going to add just a little bit of white to it, just to brighten it up a little bit. 1, 2, 3. That's a method that I like to use. I call it my 1, 2, 3 method. I've been teaching these in workshops forever. And you're just adding extra little bit of color. 3 layers of color. Okay, that's good. I think that all mountain's done. So I'll tell you what, let's go over here. And I want to add some textures of grassy textures and things. Work its way up that mountain. Work its way down this way a little bit. But really right through here. Okay, you can start seeing that ridge now really take shape here. You can really see it taking its shape. All the way out, just like that. All the way like that there. And see, I'm just giving it this ridge. Kind of working its way in. But there's a nice dark amount of paint here. Sap green, all that in there. And just work it up the mountain ridge. Don't worry about getting uneven colors. This is actually what makes it, in my opinion, look more realistic when you have a little variety of colors and shades going on in it. All these different colors and stuff that goes up this mountain. Just follow it. Make sure you follow that ridge, get that ridge line there. This is a fun project. I think you're going to really enjoy doing this one. I'm just working it up now, working it back up into the mountain. These different shapes and things. There we go. And I'm just going to go back to that same kind of color. The blue, a little blackbird sienna, a little bit of red. And then work over here now. Work over here now and work this up the mountain. Up to that nice dark ridge. This is going to be our shadow side. We already established that with the mountain. But we still need some darker so we can show some highlights. There we go. That looks good to me. And we'll just take that old dirty brush and I'll just kind of wipe it off on an old shop towel. So it's somewhat clean. Let's go back to the palette. Okay, so we're going to take some cadmium yellow light. And we'll take a little bit of yellow ochre with that as well. Maybe a touch of red. Just a touch of red. Just give it some variety of color. And we take some of that pink, pink color there. I'm going to grab a little bit of amazing white with that. Just a tiny bit. Okay. And just push that brush right in. And just push that brush right into the paint. Alright, let's go back up here. Okay, and so right through here, we're going to start tapping up some grassy foliage and work it up the mountain. Just on this side. Okay, just on this side. Kind of follow the shape of the mountain and kind of the way it's flowing. Okay. Right up there it goes. Just like that. And this brush here will just lay it on so softly. It's so nice. Now I'll take a little more titanium white with that, just making a lighter color with a little bit of amazing white with that. Maybe a little bit of red, just to give it a little more pink. And just hitting the brush in different areas, just to kind of get a little more extra spark going on here. There we go. That's pretty good. There we go. Okay, so now we got this side, the shadow side to worry about. And this old brush here, it's got paint in it, but I'm going to add a little more of that yellow and a little touch of green to it. And I'm going to start at the main base and work it up. This way it'll start to get into the darks and the dirts and make more of a shadow color by the time it works its way up. And then I can come here when the brush is dirty and kind of redefine that little line again. Back to the colors. And just kind of working it down from that shape. Once this brush has kind of picked up enough dark, you can start to play around with the angles a little better. And the different textures you want in your painting. There we go. But you just keep on playing with it. Just keep playing with it, getting different textures and all that good stuff there. I'm just going to take the fan brush, get some dark. And I kind of want to reestablish this line. I want it a little darker, my ridge line. And I want to kind of just work that down a little bit into the painting here. I'm just using a number 3 fan brush. See, that ridge kind of got a little crazy there, so we can just fix that ridge up. And you can just do some of this down here if you want. Kind of helps add some texture and stuff through the painting. Okay, it looks pretty good to me. I think we got our old mountain done. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to mix up a color for a big old tree. I want to put a big old tree in here. Probably right out through here. And to do that, we're going to go to our palette. And we're going to take burnt sienna and some blue. There we go. That's the color. Burnt sienna and Prussian blue. You may add a little sap green to it or a little black if you choose to. Okay. Alright, let's go and take this up here and get a little roll of paint. And we go right up here. Okay, so now we got to decide where our big tree is. I believe it's going to set right over here. I'm just going to get the initial design with my palette knife. Working it down. Working it down. All the way to the bottom of the old canvas. And then we'll take it on the opposite side now. And start deciding how thick we want this tree to be. You decide. You decide how big or small you want it to be. Just try to keep the proportions on it fairly even. Okay, right down to the bottom. Just like that. Get a little more paint. And I think I'm going to go to a filbert brush here. And I'm just going to fill this all in with the filbert brush. See, a lot quicker that way. Boom. And maybe just get me We'll open up a paint thinner here, and I'm using Turpenoid for cleaning brushes with. That's what I use. Okay, and we'll go and thin down some paint real quick. Okay. In this, I just have some burnt sienna, a little bit of red and white. Okay, red and white. I'm just adding a little more paint thinner to it, just so it thins down very fast. Okay, get a nice sharp point to it. Okay, maybe you can see the point. Let's go back here. Now what I'm going to show you is how you add some details to your tree. We're going to take an old liner brush here and just do some lines on it. Just like that. Just like this. Okay? It's a very simple process to do this. It just takes you a little more time. Okay? So just keep doing this. We're going to keep this color here going up the tree on the left side. All the way up the left side of this little tree. Got a little... right up the left side of this tree, and it's really hard to show all the detail going on with this painting because it's in such a long, I mean this is a 20-inch streak, okay? So it's going to be hard to show you all the detail. But what I want to do is show you close-ups and then show you how the movements are going on. As you can see how I'm just holding the brush from the back of the handle and just going up the mountain, up the little tree here with this highlight color. And the goal is just to show you how to do it. That way you can do it on your own. And it helps to have a really good liner brush too, by the way. And one you can control very easily. Okay, and we'll go close up over here and we'll show you how to do the shadows. And for the shadows, we're going to use just some burnt sienna and some burnt umber. It makes almost a black, but it's nice and cool. Nice cool color. Nice dark gray blue. Okay, let's go back up here. Okay, and this is where you add in your shadows. Your shadow textures. See how that now works? Right in those areas. Very easily done. Just like that. Okay, and we're going to just do this to the whole thing. Do it to the whole tree. But just take your time when you're doing this. This way you can get a lot more detail out of it. I just want to show you basically how to just do it. I usually spend a lot more time than that on it when I'm doing them. But I'm going to make just a little bit of shadow color. And all that is just lightening up what we've been using for the other one. Just add a little more white. Okay. And then we can just strike in a few little areas of highlight. Now, it'd be a good idea probably add a little red to that. They kind of mimic the glow on the mountain. So add a little red in here. It helps mimic the glow. It helps mimic the glow. Now do some dark shadow. Quickly there. Okay. See? You got a nice little tree there. Nice little tree. Then I'm going to make some limbs. So I'll tell you what, we'll follow this along. And to make the limbs, we're just going to use that shadow color. And we're going to go down with these limbs. So we're just going to go like this. Just like that, see? You just kind of work it and try to balance it the best you can. See, you know, how big and how small you need to make them. Working it down. You're going to have some very thick, some really skinny. Like I said, just kind of work them. Just down the old tree. And just work them down. I'm just going to work them down. All the way down. Nice dark one there. That one could get broke off or something. And just fix them up as you see fit. Okay. Okay. Hopefully this looks good. Hopefully you learned a little something on this one. Okay, nice little tree. Okay, and then at the bottom of this, I want to add some little fir trees. So we'll add some little fir trees here. So we're just going to load up a fan brush into some dark tree color. Just a dark color we've been using. And then at the bottom of this, I just want to add some trees that are just standing up here. Just a few little trees down here. You can see they're just the tips of them to emphasize how big this tree actually is. Just to show how big it is there. See? Just add a few little trees, a few little tree trunks that just kind of stand up way down here. You kind of see them kind of poking up. Little tree over there. Just kind of pokes up. Just a big old tree. See those nice little bottom things there. And I think what I want to do now is I want to add a nice, beautiful little eagle in this one. I want to add a little eagle in this one. So I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll go right up here where I want to add it at. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through some burnt sienna and a little bit of the blue. Same colors we used for the tree. And I'm going to decide that I want the little belly of the little eagle to be right here. Okay. This is going to be a very small eagle. Not going to be very big at all. Put a little further that way. And then a little bit down here like that. So that's the brown spots. Hopefully you can see it's not very big. Not very big at all. Then we'll just take some of that white. Has a little bit of burnt sienna in it that we use kind of for the main highlight on this tree. And then I want to just kind of put a little like that right there. Just kind of more like a dot there. And then I'm just going to kind of wipe the brush out a little bit, but retain some of that. Just so I kind of give the belly a little bit of texture and things. But it's just a little eagle. That's way back there in the distance. And so when people look at it, they're going to see an eagle flying here. Instead of just a few little dots, right? That's all we basically did, a few dots. And with that, I think I got a finished little painting here. Right, just finished signing my painting, and it's always important to sign your painting. It lets everybody know that you got monkey face, and you had a good time, and you put a date on there and know when you got monkey faced, and then you're ready to sell your painting. This one's a fun project. I really hope you enjoyed it. I wanted to show you how to do a nice little ridge in your mountain, how to get a little eagle in here, and how to get a little more detail out of your trees. If you just take your time with your liner brush, you can really get some nice tree effects. This with any tree you do. You can do a little leaf tree, whatever, and boom, you got yourself a nice little detail just using the liner brush. But it's important to have a good liner brush for this. Should you a little bit more on how to get a little bit more detail in your mountains in this project, but I really just wanted to kind of emphasize the ridge and the eagle and the little tree there. But I do hope you enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Every time you like and comment the videos, YouTube push these videos out so we can get more folks watching, and it helps us get more viewers so we can keep these shows going. So I really want to keep making programs. So this one's a great project. I do hope you try it. Join us on Facebook at Brandon's Wet on Wet Club. I really hope you join us there. If you're trying to find the group, just go to BrandonThomasArt.com and click the link Show. Scroll down, you'll see a little picture. It'll have Brandon's Wet on Wet Club on it. Just click that, it'll take you right to the Facebook group. And on that same page, you can find my art supplies at BrandonThomasArtSupply.com. And you can find that sheet, the little supply list sheet, on BrandonThomasArt.com/show. If you just go to the website, click on the link Show, and you'll find all this information. So I do hope you enjoyed it. Hope you had fun today. I know I enjoyed painting with you. I always love painting with you guys. And I always love helping you out. So if you got any questions, comment, let me know. And I'll be happy to help you. I love you, but Jesus loves you more. God bless you, and I'll see you real soon.
The Painting with Magic Show with Brandon Thomas is brought to you by BrandonThomasArtSupply.com.